What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's So Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We're kind of popping over there. Okay. Now, I no, mind you, I have planned topics, and sometimes they coincide with the YouTube video that is releasing on YouTube, and people who are on YouTube, they listen to the podcast and watch the video, it's a whole experience. And other times it's music and musical movies and things like that. Like, my podcast has been a variety of things. And when I first started, it was like, great. Like, this really kind of took off, and I didn't expect it to, because I knew I wanted to talk about pop culture, and that's generally what the podcast is. But it kind of has taken a turn, a direct turn to me, toward musical content and musical discussion surrounding all things music, whether it be reactions or live performances, award shows, whatever, right? Musical movies, Descendants, hello. So it's just been kind of dipping and diving into several different things. And I've just been thinking recently, like, how much the brand has to shift. Conversations about that have already been had. Like, this isn't something that just popped up in my mind yesterday. Like, this is probably a year of sitting on it and just putting things into play slowly, because things don't happen overnight. But just really thinking about what the brand wants to be, because truth be told, like, I had no idea. Like I said, when I started it, it was for fun, you know. And I always knew I wanted to brand it. Truthfully, I did. It started out as just Sowdev. Period. I was just doing reactions, just fun, cute, blah blah blah, every now and then or whatever, right? And I was like, oh, people kind of like this stuff. Cool. So I decided, okay, let's make a branded YouTube account. And that's how Dev was born. And from the moment I started the channel, it was an unbelievable energy. Like, it instantly created a community. And the one thing I was so focused on about the brand, the channel, because I started the channel first before the podcast, I wanted to establish the YouTube channel, because I recognized that the YouTube channel was probably going to be the hardest to get it where I wanted it to be. And the podcast isn't where I want it to be. It has seen some crazy things, right? And I haven't been too entirely focused on it this year, because I've been super focused on YouTube. So it's kind of been on the back burner. But also at the same time, like, the podcast still does pretty well for itself. And I gotta be real. I didn't want it to become one of these things that just flush out the same things, right? Like, okay, we created a narrative already. Now, what else can we do? Right? Because on YouTube, for example, and I'm very precise with what I do on YouTube, because my YouTube channel, it started off as reactions, obviously, right? Musical reactions. But at some point, I felt like it needed to expand beyond just being YouTube reactions, because I love music. I love the musical experience. I love going to see live shows. I love everything, the award shows, all of it, right? And to me, who doesn't love a live performance? No matter who it is, your favorite person, right? Your favorite song, who doesn't love it? Hello? So I took a step in the direction of music entertainment. And let me get my water, child, because mm, hydration, important. Do that. But like, musical entertainment is something that reaches everybody. I knew that that's what I wanted it to become slightly. I wasn't too sure how I could make it my own, but somehow I think I have. And I really don't care. I mean, if you go on my YouTube channel and you click on the first shorts and you just swipe through, you could be there for hours and you won't get bored. I am beyond confident about that. The channel has 4 million views for a reason. And I've watched YouTube channels for a very long time. And the one thing that every last creator says in their video, it's that people are watching, but they're not subscribing, right? So I recognize that that is the biggest task. To me, I had goals, right? I did, and I surpassed them under the amount of time that I expected. And I also had to be realistic because I had a lot of, friends who are not black. We have to be realistic. And, some people don't want to take into that factor, but it is my lived experience and it is the reality also at the same time that you have to worry about, 30,000 times as hard. So it's true. And that doesn't phase me, honestly. I still put in the work on the channel. The channel is consistent. I have crafted a channel that has an aesthetic. I crafted a brand that has an aesthetic because after I created the YouTube, right? Like I said, the podcast came after and I established the podcast. And I'm one of, look, I do everything. And I know a lot of creators feel that, right? Like the social media presence, the postings, the editings, all of that shit. Like, right? The little things are done by me. But I have a lot of help. That is a factual statement, right? But the reality of it is, the reality of it is, I so I edit, but I hate it. It's true. It's true, you see. I hate editing so much, but I love everything else about creating the content. And, that's the one area where I don't get help in. I've aligned it to where I have that readily available, but I have not taken advantage of that quite yet. I'm not at the point to where I'm ready for that because look, there is X amount of content styles that are being rolled out onto the channel, and for example, video podcasts, those are coming, and also TV and movie reactions, those are also coming because, as I said, that's Sowdev. It is a brand. It's not necessarily anything that's a special specification per se. So I think that the channel can have several things, and I do want to have those as well. So um, when those roll out, I do want to take advantage of somebody editing, and I'm thankful that she is incredibly patient because I am annoying. It's true. Hello. Well, did you want me to lie? No. So that's tea, y'all. But those things are part of the shifting of directions. And I've been planning the TV and movie reactions, and the video podcasts. I've been planning them for a while, but like I always do, I do a billion and one things at the same time. So it's no secret that I'm working on music, two EPs that I am planning, one for sure coming out next year. Um, Updates on that soon. Because one thing about music, it's going to take its time. Nothing is going to be forced, and I think that as things move slowly and you know progressively, I just find that it's just more fruitful and the music is just more quality. So I don't really feel the need to run and rush on that one right there. But definitely the first one will get out next year. The second one, I'm definitely hoping if we don't have it ready by summer, it's probably going to wait until the next one. That's unfortunate, but it's tea. So it is what it is. But either way, music is on the way. And sidetrack before we get back to the YouTube stuff. Like the music is also in the narrative of this shifting direction type of era that is really going on right now. Because I have the first EP. In the second EP, they're said, I'm not recording new songs for those. The demos are in consideration that I threw away. I have one or two that I've revamped and put one each on an EP. And, you know, so as I said, got those set, I'm making music outside of that. And no, I'm not necessarily looking to put out an album for a couple years. And for the reason being, I want to take my time with that. I I want to expand the way that I create music. Like again, as I always say, I'm not going to keep applying the same recipe and expecting a different result. I'm just not. You know, it's really an interesting thing, songwriting to me, because most times, like, I don't want to say I don't even try, but the less that I do, the better it is. And sometimes I have the lyrics down. Sometimes I have a whole song down. Sometimes I just hear a beat and it comes about. Like, who knows? But I'm trying to grow the way that I create the structure of a song. I want my songs to sound more intricate. I don't know how to explain it, but I really want my songs to say less, but also say more at the same time. So, again, I'm glad I'm putting out these first couple of songs. They're my first steps into creating my own music, my own way. And now things are going to shift directions, which I love. It's been challenging for me because I will make a song and I'm like, wait a minute. I've heard that shit before. And I'm just like, back to the drawing board. I have just so many different things saved of scraps and demos, and sometimes those come up and they are repurposed, like I said before. The two that I put on the EPs coming up, the demos that I threw away that I said that I did not like. And it's interesting just creating music, how you evolve over time, how songs evolve, and some songs that were on the project that I no longer were connected to, they went off and others came on. And it's just it's really interesting. And kind of going back to the whole YouTube aspect of things, I mean, not even just YouTube, just the brand overall of That Sowdev. I mean, I'm not releasing music under That Sowdev, it's just going to be Dev. So, but, with That Sowdev, I remember before I even really started anything, my whole idea for That So Dev was just this ET pop culture music celebrity gossip broadcast channel. And that was the idea, you know? And I don't know, like I didn't know how to approach that. Didn't know how that would come about. I mean, I even remember speaking to friends before I even moved out here. And even when I did, just searching for how to even get my foot in a door to be on sets and things like that. And I was like, one day I just did. Truly, truly, one day I just did. And it was YouTube. And, I was always like, I'm waiting for the right time to start my YouTube channel. Blah, 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 blah. Just putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And I remember one friend, shout out to Noah, by the way, love him down. He was like, if you don't start it now, you never will. Mm-hmm. That part. So I was like, okay, yeah. Started it. Boom. Went from there. Obviously, I was always going to start it, but, that little push in that moment and the message, yeah, for sure. So I think that there are a lot of things that I want to do with the brand that I am unsure of how to make happen, which is why over the last year has been kind of intense figuring that out. Because again, for me, like there's no rush. Like with the music, there's no rush to get anywhere because I feel like what I've already laid out is sufficient. I do in the space that I'm in because this is all just the first step to me. So, moving into again this shifting narratives, perspectives, whatever, directions. We're definitely moving into, as I said, the musical direction. And even more so, musical interviews with artists. That's something that's going to begin. And it wasn't something that I necessarily planned per se. It was always something I thought about for years. But the opportunity presented itself. And it just made sense. Things are about timing. Truly. Truly. And that's what I always tell people. People are like, you know what, this should have been rolled out by now. This needs to be out by this point right here. Like, you know what I mean? You're losing this, and that. And I'm like, look, even from the beginning, I just wanted to have fun at first before I really took it serious. And, we dived into business stuff. And I'm just like, look, I'm enjoying the ride, period. I am. And I'm not willing to sacrifice that for, I don't know, for like just making everything about business. Like, it can't be to me, right? It can't be. And that's why I have a lot of people who I'm now connected with who help me with a lot of this shit because I just, I cannot be all business. It won't be fun to me anymore. And this is a passion. I know a lot of people say, don't make your passion your work, but like the things that I do get me up out of bed in the morning. And that is something that I have always wanted to have because, even being, Kentucky, hello, whoa, like, can you be serious here? Like, it just wasn't the place for me. I always wanted more. I was always bigger than where I was. And so being in a place where I can really just spread the wings, right? Like, I didn't plan to be here, but I am here, bitch. And, the world is kind of my oyster. I'm really just kind of making what it is. I'm making my own opportunities. I'm really kind of branding myself. I have main colors. I wear those colors. I bake those colors. You know what I mean? It. I am branding down, and that's very clear. And it's step number one to something bigger, long term. And I tell people all the time, right? Girl, I don't care if I'm 60. This YouTube channel, this brand, it's going to pop. And it's several avenues for it. Because obviously, musical entertainment, we've discussed that. But I also have a separate baking channel, So Sweets, which is turning itself into bakeries in physical form. I'm shifting into that direction as well, which is kind of crazy. But, you know, long term plans, okay? Things do not happen overnight, but it's real. It's really real. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But again, That So Sweets is a branch off of That So Dev. So, That So Dev has a website. That's so dev YouTube channel specifically. Not, I don't have merchandise generally, right? I can't make that merchandise the way that I specifically want to yet. So that's coming, but the YouTube channel does have merchandise specifically for YouTube. And I think it's very self expressive. And yeah, I feel like everything about That So Dev is really about being authentically yourself. I mean, the brand name. Yeah, that's so dev. Obviously, a Disney kid obviously didn't want to be sued, but also it just so happens, right, that my last name would start with so. So the nice twist on it. And it was just such a creative moment. And it represents everything that makes it onto the channel. I love it. Look at my shorts. There's such authentic moments of a performance, right? I react to songs that really have authentic moments. And in those moments, those are authentic moments for the people watching. T, look, I've gained a massive understanding of how to approach my YouTube channel because a lot of the times when you're starting a YouTube channel, you're trying to figure out how to approach the YouTube channel. What does this person do? What does that person do? Blah, 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 blah. This and that and the other. And it's not that you shouldn't do that. I recommend it because reaching out to other creatives, like I used to watch a lot of YouTube creatives, their reaction videos specifically. And they helped me figure out how to get all of this shit done. Truly. How to actually create reaction videos, because I had no idea. I was like, how do you get the music video on the video? Like it doesn't make sense. Like, is this like Photoshop? Like, what is going on? Like, no, I genuinely had no idea. And they were so kind. They helped me out, and it was really awesome because, like I watched the YouTube videos on, I remember being in college, like depressed as hell, girl, watching them YouTube videos with harmony reactions, and, those gave me the greatest amount of joy in those moments. And I wanted to give that back. And, it's amazing to see people receive that kind of joy from my videos in the comments. So, I really just want to expand on the content, blah, 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 and all that. So, yeah, girl. Oh, girl, girl. I'm literally, like, even in this moment, just thinking about so much that's happening, because we're obviously talking about stuff that's happening with the brand and blah blah blah, business, blah blah blah, but I'm having a whole personal life, right? And then there's life that's happening in the world out there. So there's a lot going on, and I feel like all of it is inspiring the shifting of directions. I mean, there's been a lot of um reconnections, even, you know just recently. It was the anniversary of my high school soccer team, my senior year, us having a historic run. And I was like, oh, whoa, emotional. Okay. Just had a tremendous amount of gratitude and appreciation for everybody involved and that I grew up with. I mean, one of my friends, Elijah, I was at his house every damn day. I'm not even joking. And you would have thought we were attached at the hip at one point. Shit. Like, and I have been having this tremendous amount of love and, again, appreciation. So I've been reminiscing and looking at the pictures, and it's kind of taking me into this direction of reconnection, because there's been like, I've realized, like, there's been so much that's been happening in my life that I've been full steam ahead. I've been going and going and going, right? And I think, because, like, in this moment, I get to take a breather from work a little bit. And I'm used to being so jam packed from August to December, but work's a bit more spread out right now. And I'm seeing these, memories on Facebook and stuff. I'm like, oh, dang, wow. Like, how fast did all of that go? I mean, my goodness. But what a wonderful time it was. And I could not imagine my life without those people. And with remembering that and the whole shifting direction of things, it's kind of like a full circle thing. And it's been a theme of things being full circle, because even doing music or even doing this YouTube channel, these are all full circle things to me, because these are things that I've wanted to do my entire life. But of course, a bitch with social anxiety, and you know what I mean? Like, it was just not something that I think that I could take on, comprehend, and execute the way that I am now. And again, it comes back to that timing thing. Timing is everything, right? So I'm telling y'all. Look, there are a lot of exciting things coming, and this is all like it's hilarious to me because again, I've been saying I'm gonna release music for years, right? But there's always something that keeps happening because I get booked for this, I get booked for this, I get booked for this, I get booked for this. And like there's a little drought of work. And that's for everybody across the board, especially here after, they ignored that bill down. They're obviously revisiting it. We're gonna see what happens in the special session, blah blah blah. We're gonna make our voices heard. Make sure you make your voice heard. Like we gotta be serious because I really think that, passing this bill here, baby, is going to be very beneficial for the economy here, for the local creatives. I also think it's going to create a lot of jobs out here in Vegas. So I'm crossing my fingers. But like I think that even just doing all of this is kind of, I don't know. It's a bit surreal to me. It is. Like, not to get off track because obviously, hello, ADHD brain, but like, I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, wow, like, I literally used to recite every single word to every single Hannah Montana episode. I know. Get your cackles in now, girl. I'm so serious. No, I'm very serious. And I put it on sometimes. And when I say sometimes, I mean like maybe every other month. It's true. It's true, surprisingly. Like I would think like it would be like every 2 weeks, but no. I need my time apart so that way I can appreciate it more. Anyhow, girl. But I loved me some Hannah Montana High School Musical. I love the choreography. I love the dance. I love the entertainment. I love to perform concerts. Like, love to pretend I was on camera filming. So to be doing what I'm doing, it's like it's healing your inner child, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to do all of the things that you were too like and I hate to use the word afraid to do, but I mean it was fear. So yeah, truthfully. And it was a lot of battling social anxiety that I did not understand. I wish that I did at the time, and I wish that the conversation about mental health was very as in depth as it is now, girl. Well, but no. I mean, I just feel like my journey with coming to entertainment has been, again, it's a full circle thing. I remember I was at an audition and somebody was like, most people who audition are younger. And mind you, I was like 25, I think. And I was like, what? Because they were kind of insinuating, like, you're kind of old. And he was like, what made you decide to start now? And it's not even necessarily that I decided to start now. I'd always been doing things, but now was convenient. I had the time to commit to it, the focus, the ability to lock in. And that's essentially what my response was. It was just kind of like, there never was really a time. There were opportunities that presented themselves that eventually probably became inconvenient in some form or fashion. Like, even things in Kentucky, you go to an audition or something like that, then you got to travel here, you travel here, travel here, and you're in college or something like that. Like, that's really not possible. So, being out here where all the opportunities and things, they're right here, you don't really have to travel anywhere if you have to go to LA. It's a nice little quick little 4 hour drive. It's cute. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. Take a road trip with the girlies. We all go together and eat that shit up. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, being here, the opportunities are plentiful for me. LA, it's competitive. Out here, it's quite supportive. I have to say. And I love that. Everybody's very supportive. So, I don't know. Like, all of this is it is kind of a direction shift for me because I wasn't always doing things in regards to movie and film. I wasn't even entirely sure that I was going to start doing it at all. Like I knew that I was going to step into the direction. Like I worked for TMZ for a while, right? And I'm working the job that I am now. Like I always knew that I was going to be in the entertainment, pop culture, music space, but I never foresaw, girl. I did not. I did not. Like out of nowhere. I don't know. It was one day of popping up on a movie set, and it just went from there. And I tell people all the time because I used to ask people, "How did you do this?" And they'd be like, "Honestly, I don't know." I thought the girl was gatekeeping, not her specifically, but people generally, because you hear that a lot. But if somebody asked me, "Well, how did you do this, and that?" I honestly couldn't tell you because one day I did one thing and it went to here, 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 here. And that's how it is most of the time. Very last minute, very back to back. It goes, stops. You got a cute minute. Oh, boom. Go. Like, I don't know how that shit work, but it do be working. And a bitch be booked. I do. I be booked all the time. I'm literally always doing shit. I tell people I never am not working. That's a fact. It's so true. And it's also so exhausting, but it's getting a bit somewhere. So, that's really all I have to say today, guys. I do appreciate you tuning in today. You know, didn't have too much to talk about, just a little catch up. You know what I mean? Like, the podcast used to really be um conscious, relevant, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. And I believe that that's coming back because, again, this was a very YouTube focused year. In my goodness, what do we do? Because I had only like 1 million last year views. I have 4 million now, so I've gotten about 3.3 million views this year alone. And with the team that I have now of people, um, and knowing what I know, I think that we can execute that without the exhaustion and the spreading too thin. So it allows the focus of something else, right? So the podcast is the big focus of next year, especially with the video podcasts. And I always knew that the video podcast was going to make the podcast really reach the bigger heights because, I mean, people were really eating up the podcast. I mean, girl, look, it's the fact that when the podcast came out, it hit a chart. It hit a chart, something in regards to new podcast recent uploads, right? And I will take what the fuck I can get at this point. Okay? Hello. And I think that at that point I kind of knew that something was shifting. And honestly, it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I think what solidified the stability of the audience is putting the podcast on YouTube because I didn't do that for years. I just started doing that a year ago. Somebody on Twitter asked me, "Hey, um, can you put this on YouTube because we can't access where the podcasts are from our country?" And I said, "Oh, bet." So boom. I mean, honestly, I didn't think anybody wanted to listen to an audio only podcast. Some of my friends were like, "I do." I was like, "Really? Even without YouTube premium?" Child, I couldn't. I got to be able to swipe away. I got to be able to go where I want. So, I don't know, y'all. That's just my tea or whatever. Anyhow, I'm really hopping off here, okay? Because y'all know I will keep going. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. like I said, more real conversation coming back. And we used to have a lot of mental health talks. And I think that things just need to be more grounded again on the podcast, but while also not sacrificing the musical experience and entertainment. Anyway, I'm hopping off here. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the That's So Dev podcast, where you stay true and stay you. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube, because, girl, we kind of popping over there. All right? I'm hopping off here. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.